Hi everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome to another Sketch Sunday video. So here's the sketch. It's from My Favorite Things. We're going to be using a lot of My Favorite Things products, and we're also going to be using the MFT. So let's get started. We are going to do a pre-made card base, which is, these are 4 by 5.5, which normal A2 size cards are 4 1/4 by 5.5, but for some reason these are 1/4 inch smaller. So that is the card base that we're going to use. We're going to be using lots of My Favorite Things stamps, the MFT, and I will tell you all the supplies as we go through it. So if you guys don't know what the MFT is, it stands for the Most Incredible Stamping Tool Invented, and I love it. I got it for Christmas this year from my goddaughter, my other niece, and it's perfect. So I'm going to show you how to use it. So I wanted to use this background stamp. This is probably from my last My Favorite Things release that I got, or order that I got. So these are the background stamps. And this one, let me tell you real quickly, it is the My Favorite Things Starry Night Builder background stamp set. So it comes with 2 pieces. It comes with this red rubber foam stamp set, and then it comes with a clear piece. So I've never used this, but I think I finally figured out how to use it. So we're going to do 2 different tones on here. So first thing you want to do is open the MFT. I actually took the magnets. It comes with 2 magnets. I took those off the back. Keep them far away from each other because they are super, super strong and they will break easily. So this is the stamping pad. If you're using regular clear stamps, you want this on the bottom. If you're using these red rubber mounted stamps like this that have the cling to them, you don't want to use it because there's extra cushion. So this is just the pad of paper that comes along with it. And here's a piece of paper that I cut down. So what I'm going to do is I want to place the magnets so that it holds my paper into place, even though it's basically the exact same size as the paper underneath. I just want to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. So it's almost completely in the corner. Just want to line it up in the bottom. You want to just make sure it's lined up at one corner. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it down on my paper. There is a backing on here, so I want to release the backing so that the gray shows. Now the gray is the cling, and that's what makes it stick to the glass part. So we're going to go like this, pick it up on the door, and then we're going to just take one of the colors and do this. So I'm going to use the Recollections Ombre pad, and this is like the orange to yellowish. So I just kind of want to go back and forth to make sure that my stamp is pretty well covered and that it's all different shades. So the nice part about this is if too much of the yellow comes out or anything, I can always go back and restamp this because it'll stamp in the exact same spots. Or if I don't get enough pressure to make a good impression. And I'm going to cut this piece down so hopefully the middle part will come out okay. Because this is larger than the front of my card base. So we're just going to see how this comes out. Like I said, I've never used this stamp before, so let's see. It didn't come out too bad. It's mainly orange. It's hard with a large image like this to get some of that ombre to work. So we're going to peel this off. I'm going to put this over to the side, and then we are going to do the stamp builder part. So I'm going to place it where I think it goes so that it doesn't hit any of the other stars. I'm trying to figure out. I found out how to do it on, it might go like this. Yeah, it kind of just goes like this. Okay. So now I'm going to peel it off of this backing, and we're going to place this right where I had it. Just making sure that it's not overlapping any of the other stars. And this is why the MFT is so great, because I can make sure that it has perfect positioning. Now I'm going to do a yellow. Thought I was going to do an orange, but I think I'm going to do the sentiment in orange. This is Butter Bar, so I wanted to have some yellow in there, and because the yellow didn't really come out too much. This is a departure from the normal colors I usually do. I usually do like a blue and green or a pink and purple, but yellow and orange is kind of a departure for me. So if this doesn't come out too good, it's like that star there didn't come out too good, so I'm going to re-ink up all the stars again. And then make sure that it all hits. Oh, you know why? Because this needs the padding underneath of it. That is why the stars are not coming out so well. So since this was down at the bottom, I know the paper was exactly at the bottom, I don't have to worry about this. I was wondering why. I usually use it with the black pad underneath of it. Just wondering why it wasn't really stamping very well, and that would be why. So now I can go back and I can put this down again and do the exact same thing. Now this one should stamp a little bit better because I don't know if you can see it that well, but it actually is up where it's supposed to be. It's risen up a little bit more because there's no cling behind this. And sorry if it feels like I'm rambling. I am having the worst week with technology. Not only am I locked out of my other YouTube channel, my iMac has decided to give the gray screen of death. So I don't know whether I need a new one or I'm going to be able to salvage it, but I'm so disappointed. It's not that old. I've tried all kinds of ways to try to reboot it, and nothing seems to be working. So I'm so upset. It just has not been my week with technology. Actually, I passed like 2 weeks with technology. So, stinks, but what are you going to do? If anybody has any tips or tricks, please feel free to leave them below in the comment section or message me. For YouTube, or to get back into the YouTube channel, or for the gray screen of death. So I'm hoping that I can just upload this video. I've had issues with doing it from the iPad before. Okay, so now that the back is done, there's the background. So I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to kind of let it dry a little bit. Not that it needs much time to dry, but I'm just going to let it be because I'm going to show you the next part. So I used a die. I'm going to use a die and a stamp from this Count the Stars stamp set. So this is the Count the Stars stamp set, so I'm using this star from that. And then I took the die, I just got these dies. It's Wish, Stars, and Star. So the big cursive words down here, it's the dies that cut around those. There are ones that just cut the words out, and there's ones that cut around them. So these actually cut around it, so I used my Cuttle Bug and cut the word star out. So I've done that, and I want to just show you how to use the MFT with this, because it's the first time I've used the word star, and I'm not sure how well it's going to stamp. So what I've done is I put the die cut back into the cutout, and then I just put the clear stamp right over it. So just pick that up. And now it's sticking to that. The die cut is actually sticking to that because it's so new. Hoping that, let me make sure that's exactly where it was supposed to be. Actually, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the stamp, nestle it right into where it needs to go. I'm going to pick this up. Stamp is super sticky. So again, let me make sure that's not perfectly. I know this is so boring. I'm sorry, guys. I wish that I could edit this video. Okay, so then we're going to use Hero Art Shadow Ink in Orange Soda Mid-Tone. We're going to ink the star, word star up. Now this one, since again I haven't used it, it may not stamp great the first time. It's one of the things that's fantastic about the Misty because you can re-stamp it. So this is how it's stamped. It will dry a little bit darker. Just put that back in there. But I actually want to stamp it again in the exact same spot. Rip up the extra ink. Stamp it down again. Wipe this off, wipe the ink off. This is just a baby wipe that is actually pretty dry. All of my baby wipes got dried in the move. So there's the star. So I'm going to put that off with the background. And then we're going to do the last piece that needs to be stamped. So in the sketch there is a circle. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to take this sentiment that says wish upon a star and use the wish upon a and then use that star word. So I cut out a circle from some white cardstock. I'm just going to put that in the corner. And as soon as I can find that circle, which is on my desk somewhere, if not, we'll just cut out another one. I have stuff all over the desk. The desk is not exactly clean. Oh, here it is. Alright, so there's the circle there. So I'm going to center it up so that it goes into the wish upon a. It's going to kind of go in the middle. These are super, super sticky, these stamps, because they're new. Super, super sticky. So now what I'm going to do is do the yellow. And I've masked off the word star so that the word star will not appear twice on this. So what you do is I just masked it off with some washi tape. I'm trying to see if this into frame. I washed it off with some I mask it off with some washi tape. And then I'm just going to pull it off. And then stamp it down, and it should pretty much be centered. And it says, wish upon a. There you go. I could potentially stamp it again. I think I'm going to. And that would mean that I need to grab that washi tape again. And again, mask that off. Mask that little star word off. And when you do the masking, you just want to make sure once you take it off that none of the ink got onto the word that's underneath. This did not. So there you go, wish upon a. So we're going to start to get the card assembled. I'm going to put this over to the side. And what I want to do is I want to go around the edges with some distress ink. So I have some carved pumpkin, and I was trying to decide if I was going to go around the edges with this or if I was just going to do the sides. And I think that I'm just going to kind of blend in just the very top, just give it like a little bit of orange. Just kind of go around the edges lightly. Let's give it a little bit of a distressed look. Okay. So there is most of the sentiment. Okay. So now I want to take my piece and we're going to cut this down. And let me tell you where I got the Wish Upon a Star sentiment from. I got it from Magical Memories from My Favorite Things. This is kind of, it doesn't say anything about Disney, but it is a Disney type thing. If you look, like Happiest Place on Earth, I'm All Ears, Say Cheese, You're Quite a Character, This Is My Happy Place, things like that. Obviously, it's not Disney specific, but I got it because we were eventually going to take my nieces to Disney, and it was on sale, and I just thought that it would be super cute. I've actually been to Disney World and Disneyland a couple times in the past couple years. So now I'm going to try to cut this down. Just going to kind of start to cut it down to size and then figure out where the best pieces are of it and use those, because I want to make sure that there's stars everywhere. So since the card is 4 by 5.5, I want the card to be 5 1/4. So I'm going to put this down to 5.5 here. 5 1/4. And then by 4, so that would be 3/4. 3 3/4. Trying to find like where and 3 3 3/4. The wire guide got kind of messed up on that one. I don't know what happened. Okay. Again, anything that can go wrong basically has been going wrong lately for me, so. Alright, I'm going to take some more of that, save these pieces because I can use them for other projects. And we're going to just take that carved pumpkin. This is carved pumpkin distress ink, and I'm going to go around the edges here. This kind of just gives it a finished look. If you're using any kind of paper that has a white core to it, a lot of times, at least I think it looks a little bit unfinished if you can see that white around there. So normally what I do is I take a matching color or a very similar color distress ink and run that around the edges just so that there is a little bit of definition and it makes it look a little bit more finished. So here is the base, and now I can't find anything because this desk is a disaster zone. Okay, so there was a card base around here. Oh, there we go. It is right here. Here's the card base. So now I just have to figure out what orientation I want it to be. I think I want it to be up and down. Let's wish upon a star. And what I think I wanted to do was just have a little piece of, because it had a little like banner at the bottom, or this little line at the bottom. The star could be that. I could do that. or I could kind of make it stand out a little bit more, but I actually think I like the star like that. I was trying to think if maybe I did a small border behind it, so it kind of sits on it, and then it's yellow. So the way that I tend to do this is I will take the ink that we use this butter bar ink, and just run it over this piece of paper, and it creates a matching color ink. So if you don't have cardstock that's the same color, this is a fantastic thing to do, because then all of your stuff matches. A lot of times either run out of the coordinated color ink, papers, or I just don't buy them for this reason, because there are simple ways that you can make the same thing. And then you don't have to worry about wasting cardstock. I just have a bunch of white cardstock, and you just make your own colors. Okay, just let this dry for a couple of seconds. This is a Ranger craft mat. It's a non-stick mat, and it's fantastic because, like it says, nothing sticks to it. So I use this all the time for all kinds of ink and paint projects. Distress inks are fantastic with this because it wipes up so nicely. I just wanted to make sure that it's not wet anymore. Distress ink will react with water, so if your surface is wet, the distress ink will react to it. So I just want to put this down. Oh, that looks fantastic. Oh, that actually looks that's really good. I love when things actually turn out better than what you thought they would look like in your head. I often have an idea, and then when I go to execute it, it looks nothing like what I thought it would look like. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Alright, so we're going to place the cardstock on the front of it. I just try to line it up on 3 sides to make sure, kind of eye it up just to see if it's even. An even border around all 3 sides, or 4 sides. I try 3 sides first and then just press it down. And then we're going to want to do, I'm going to glue this down first. So I'm going to use the Zig 2A glue pen. What I used before was an ATG gun, and I love using that. I have 2 of them. I have one for scrapbook paper, or scrapbooks, and I have one for cards. So the difference is the one that I use for cards is not acid free, and the other one is. An acid free one is the one that you want to use with pictures, because alright, this I probably should have done. Yes, I definitely should have done this before I glued the back on. Was not thinking. And this is what happens when I craft on the fly. I'll cut too much of it off. There we go. Can't even tell. Let's see if I want to pop this up. Okay. So use the ATG tape again. Okay, so for the star, what I want to do is I want to actually pop the letters up. So what we're going to do is, I have these from the $1.50 bin at Michael's, and once you're finished using all of the circles that are in them, you can save the backs to, like the rest of the pieces, instead of throwing them away, keep them because you can cut them down to strips and you can use the teeny tiny pieces to glue on the back of things like this. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I use them all the time. Riveting footage, I know. And I just try to cover as much of the back as possible. A lot of times I'll just cut these down into smaller pieces and then just leave them in the drawer like this, so that when I'm doing a project like this on video, I can just pick up some pieces and go. I don't have to worry about trying to cut the pieces while it's on video. And I just try to put them as close together as possible. And this will pop up, add some dimension, give it a little bit more character. I have put cards like this through the mail. Sometimes they do cost a little bit more, so you just have to be cautious of that because they may weigh a little bit more. And I actually, when there's dimension like this, I usually bring it to the post office and have them weigh it and not run it through the post machines because it can flatten this out. A good way to go around that is craft foam, because the craft foam usually tends to spring back up, but I don't have any craft foam, and then you have to put glue on the back of all the craft foam. So, which in this case might be easier. This can be a little bit of a pain because then you have to peel all the backings off of everything, but it gives it nice dimension. And it's a lot cheaper. And I found that these squares, or these circles, and the extra pieces are just as good as any of the other, as the foam dots that you buy, you know, or the expensive foam dots. Because I feel like people always think that the more expensive things are, the better they are. Not necessarily the case. Oops. I did not stick to my non-stick craft mat, so we're good. Okay. So there's the card. Wish upon a star. And the inside's just going to be blank for right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this Sketch Sunday video. And if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below in the more information section. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye!